Talk about building a page list. A page list is a fundamental piece of the accessibility puzzle when it comes to ebooks. It is a print corollary list. Just as it sounds, it's a list of all the pages in the book, and it can be an extra level of navigation for your book. So this book opened on the screen is the content that we'll be working on and often on this series of videos. There's the table of contents. You can only see the page list in Adobe Digital Editions, unfortunately. It functions a little bit differently from reading system to reading system, but Adobe Digital Editions is a good place to see it in action. So here's the page list. The landmarks are down below. If there were any other supplemental lists, they would be in this sidebar navigation. But the page list is just as it sounds. When I click on a page, it takes me, in theory, to the start of that page. I don't know what's happening with that one, but there's always something, especially when you're doing a demo. But it is as it sounds. It's a print corollary page list of everything going on in the content. So in theory, when I click on page 21, the reading system will jump to the start of page 21. A variety of readers using different formats can literally be on the same page, and this is particularly important in an educational context, but also in lots of other contexts like book clubs, etc. And it's extremely important for a print-disabled reading experience because it's another nice level of navigation. So how do we create a page list? InDesign does not do this automatically, unfortunately. It does it for fixed layout ebooks, but it doesn't do it for reflowable ebooks, and that's a gap that I hope that will be fixed sometime soon, but not at present. So for now, you're going to need to use a script called PageStaker, and this script is readily available to you in the assets associated with this video. So PageStaker, so let's open up the scripts panel. That's this funny S over here. If you don't have it open already in your sidebar navigation, you can access it through utilities and then scripts. Okay, so here is my scripts menu. PageStaker is a JavaScript, so it'll be loaded into that JavaScript folder, and it's here. If you need to install it, the place to install it is in the scripts folder of your InDesign package. So there's a path, a clear path in the text associated with this video that will show you that. So from within InDesign, I open up the scripts palette and then I double click on this script. You have to move the whole folder into the JavaScript folder, just FYI, and then this is the only thing you're ever going to need to click on, this one called PageStaker.jsx. When I double click it, it's going to happen really quickly, but pay attention. It will run through the document and it will so it happens so quickly that we didn't even see it happening. So I don't know if you see this here. There's now an orange caret at the start of chapter 1. And let's navigate down a little bit. So here is another one right at the point of the page break. This little orange caret's here. So what's happened, if we look at the character palette, there's a new character style sheet here called calm.rorohiko.pagestaker.style. And how this script works is it inserts a tiny piece of conditional text right at the start of every fresh page. So here's the conditional text palette. If you need to navigate that, if that's not showing up in your sidebar, that comes from, type in tables and then conditional text. So you can see there's an item here called staked page numbers. When I click the eyeball there, in theory, it shows all that text with this condition, but what happens is it disappears. So if I go backwards and highlight what's next to that word visits right there, you'll see that it's 0.1 points. So very, very tiny, 0.1 of 1 point, and it's crossed through. It's got strike through on it. That's the character style associated with it. It's extremely tiny so that it doesn't cause reflow. Just FYI, but that means it's not visible to you even when it's turned on. So I like to leave that turned off until this conditional text. I like to leave that turned off until right before I export to EPUB. I often export to EPUB forgetting to turn it on, and then I have no page numbers and I have to go backwards. So don't do as I say, not as I do. But this is how it works. That tiny orange caret that appears at the start of each page break is the page stake. And it's very tiny so as not to cause any reflow, but it has an actionable style sheet onto which the correct code can now be layered. So when it's activated in the conditional text palette, it becomes live in the file and the orange caret disappears. So when you're ready to export to EPUB, you will turn that on and then it will appear in the text. And we'll see this a little bit later on when we go into the actual HTML and convert to the right code. Basically, PageStaker creates the scaffolding on which you build your page list.